So a lot of people ask me, you know, what is this record about? And it's an important question. You know, records have different meanings based on how the artists want them to be interpreted. And you know, the interesting thing is, you know, with this kind of record that I'm trying to write, it's very different from, you know, what most people would normally, you know, write music about. I suppose the first thing you would probably want to know is that it's a concept album. And what that generally means is that, you know, all of the songs that are displayed on the album, they all have to tie into this central theme that I've, you know, written the album about. They follow this narrative. And to me, this narrative is very important. And with a lot of albums, and a lot of art in general, you leave it, you know, interpretive to the consumer, to the person that's viewing or watching or you know, getting something from it, because that kind of leaves it open for a lot of people to get a lot of different things out of what you've made. And, you know, that's a net positive, I think. But for something like this, it's a little trickier because you're trying to get people to see through one perspective, or at least a much more focused perspective is kind of the way I'd put it. In the way that you're kind of telling a story. So this really kind of requires you to be a proficient writer, enough so to move people in the right direction in the way that you kind of want them to go down, and you want their brains to go down while they're thinking about your content. So with the beginning, which is the very first thing that you'll hear on the record, it very much kind of ties into this central narrative and this central theme. Because the Mourning Star Falls is a concept record, every song is important, and what the beginning really aims to do is set up this atmosphere, this tone of the record, and it's got to do it well, because if it doesn't, you know, that immediately is going to mess up the entire paradigm of the album. You know, setting the atmosphere, setting the tone is something you always want to do. The first paragraph of any book, you know, the opening scene of every movie, you want to set the tone, and you want to let the audience know what they're going to be in for the record. And I think, you know, whether it's good or not, I think it does that. You'll notice that it uses a lot of symphonic elements, which is something I've been really pushing towards. The Mourning Star Falls is a heavy metal record. Metal is something I've been working with all my life, and it can be very aggressive, and I like that because it can accentuate and exacerbate, you know, human emotions that are interesting to explore, like, you know, anger or a tragedy or sadness or some of the more negatively oriented ones. But with symphonic elements, and by that I mean more like orchestral themes, you know, with violins and piano, you can really explore like the more emotive side of metal, and that's really important to me because it kind of flips this aggressive branded, you know, style of music on its head, or at least adds a different bit of dimension that expands the dynamic range of what that as a music form can really do to you and bring for you. You know, obviously it's a more of a controversial style to write in. It doesn't really bother me. I just want to make sure that what I'm writing is expressed in the correct way, and I feel like for this record, heavy metal is the best way to do that. So the purpose for the beginning, it's really interesting, the history behind it. The beginning, it was actually never its own song. It was originally written as the intro to Bane, which is the what one could consider the first real song on the record. Real song, I hate to put it, you know, in quotations. Back when I was writing this, back before I ever had the concept for the album, that's how it was. Bane was this this song that I had written that started to give me a lot of ideas about what kind of direction I wanted maybe a collection of works to go, and this was like a really cool way to start it off, but I felt that it kind of served its purpose a lot better as its own separate piece, taken apart as a prologue, as a kind of an intro, and a referendum to you know, what a lot of these other, you know, parts of the record are gonna move back to. The beginning is an awesome track. It has this nice dark sort of atmosphere, very melancholy and actually a little bit macabre, and it takes, at the very end, it kind of leaves the listener in this purgatory almost, where they don't really know where to go next. They're kind of waiting for a resolution that hasn't quite come yet, and that, you know, resolves in, you know, the next track on the album, which I'm very excited to be releasing on October 31st of this month. I don't want to give too many details on it yet. I know this has been a little bit more of an in-depth look, but come October 31st, you're going to be getting a lot more details about the album, as well as a new song release, which is very exciting for me. A very full, complete song that kind of is going to show you what direction the album is headed in. And December 30th is the set date for the Mourning Star Falls release. It's a project I've been working on for a very long time, and I'm very proud and very, very excited to release it. And there's going to be a lot more really cool stuff in the months to come. But looking at the next couple of days, it's going to be incredible to see a lot of the stuff that I'm hoping I can get out to you. And this information is something that I don't think you're going to want to miss if you're interested in the project. So be sure to keep it here on my YouTube channel. The Soul Gates music channel here will have a lot of the first scoops on the record, as well as some other, you know, additional either improvisational or original musical pieces in general that you can listen to, and you'll be kept up to date on, you know, the top news for the Mourning Star Falls and when new songs and new news releases. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't tell you how excited I am to be able to finally say and release, you know, something on this passion project of mine for the past couple of years. So I gotta thank you guys so much for giving me the time of day, and hopefully you guys are pleased with and also excited by this new song coming out on October 31st. And I do hope that you give it a listen when it comes by. It may not be your cup of tea, but if it is, then I do appreciate, you know, you dropping by and giving it a listen in the first place. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys on October 31st.